So, is Yu-Gi-Oh! Saved from the store standpoint? So make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So I've had a couple conversations with a couple friends that I have that run stores, they have distributors. They're deeply involved in the game for the aspect of the product side of things. And they've all said pretty much the same thing. They're excited for full arts. They're excited to see where the game is going to go, because from up until this point, most of you know that the game was flushing down, the shitter. And we've all seen the conversation from the video talking about, Yu-Gi-Oh! For the last 11 cents, minus Rarity collections being the exception, and also the Dragon Master Magia set. In the last 2 years, everything has been a failure across the board, with a few exceptions in between. I think even Justice Hunters performed very, very well for the beginning of its life. The people were excited for that product because it changed the meta. This is the problem that Konami has to face constantly with sets, is that they have to do power creep. Now, from the store perspective right now, and also with what information we have right now from Konami, Rarity 5 is going to have the stamp collection in it, and it's going to have a chunk of overframes. I keep calling them alt arts, but we're having the extended full arts coming in that set. Now, the question that we're still missing here is, how is Konami going to handle the new Blue Eyes, these other new cards that are kind of sitting here on the back burner, because I don't think that they're going to put them in Rarity 5. I have a feeling that they're going to take the heroes and the rivals and they're going to split them off into another specialized product, especially with the potential for serialized cards moving over in that direction. So, stores are excited for this opportunity. The questions that we have unanswered for the time being here on the, is Yu-Gi-Oh! Saved sort of thing from the store standpoint. So Rarity 5 was very, very much faced with the criticism of, oh boy, it's just a bunch of stamped cards with English and Japanese words. These weren't that exciting. The Malice White Rabbit is an exciting piece for sure. And the problem by that point, though, is Rarity 5 coming down is very dependent on a potential ban list swing right around the corner during that era too. Look at how the OCG has actually been reacting to this. Some of their player base hasn't been happy with the Ash Blossom and Max C reprints, because they feel like, we spent this money to get these cards just for you to, hammer them down on a list. So, if your consumers kind of watching your ban list takes, and they're not being too happy based on, the decisions you're making, then that's fine. But who do you need to make happy here? Do you need to make your store that's buying your product happy? Or do you need to make your consumer happy? Because the consumer's happy that sets are worth nothing. Stores are not happy with losing money. So, there's that. But it's also going to depend on how the TCG is going to handle these extended art cards, because we do not know how the TCG is going to do this. Right now, the OCG has confirmation that they're going to be getting 4 overframes in every core set. All right, now, as you know, the TCG likes to break some of these patterns, and we might follow the same overframes as them, or we might get different overframes from them. I'm hoping that's not necessarily the case. I hope that there is some sort of consistency here with that. And there's also been the discussion of, how many overframes are there going to be per case? How luxurious, and that's the question you got to ask yourself here too, as we go into Rarity 5 is, what is going to be your frequency of pull rate for this? Or is the TCG going to do this this thing that they did with the tins, and they're just going to go print or go burr and just make, the $1, $2 QCRs. And then, suddenly these QCRs are spiking up $5, $6 a couple years later. It's the same thing with the potential for these alt arts. Your frequency of pull rate is the most unexpected takeaway with this right now. Now, stores want product to be more desirable, but at the same time, you know, there's got to be that balance there. Also, the TCG has not announced serialized cards at any sort of capacity right now. And that's a problem. I think Grandmaster Rare needs to be announced for us. There needs to be some sort of, you know, consensus across the board that the TCG is going to be getting this higher rarity card. And as you guys already saw, I posted, we posted the short of the mock-up. They look, I think they look really good. Your player base is always going to be, you know, shaken back and forth, because half of the time they're going to be like, well, I don't want this. And the other half of the time they're going to be like, oh, okay, I mean, this is fine, you know. We get the opportunity to see, you know, Grandmaster Rare, and if we do get them, okay, it also now begs the question, for these, will these be like 10,000 Dragon, where we will have a chunk of them available in the TCG, a chunk of them available in Japan, and a chunk of them available in like Korea and Chinese as well? Because that would technically make 400 copies of every one of these Grandmasters available, 100 per each version. Which, I mean, to be fair, they will have some sort of value for them, being unique cards for what they are. I've also read an interesting takeaway that people are really worried about the serialized cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't know why. One of the arguments I read was like, oh my god, you know, like all these collectors are just going to slab these up and they're not going to be worth anything. And it's like, why are you worried about that? Why are you worried about the collectors wanting to slab up these cards? Because, like, they're collector's items, people. They're the golden, well, they're not as rare as the golden ticket to Willy Wonka's Candy Factory. But I think that if you pull something like that, you should be allowed to slab it up. I mean, do you really want somebody to run out here and try to play with said cards? It's crazy. We only know that serialized cards are going to exist so far in the Rivals and the other set. Now, is Konami going to put these into every core set? I think it would be interesting if they picked one for every core set, like the mangas that One Piece does, and actually give them a chase. I don't think that would it really be too bad for every core set to have 100 unique serialized numbered cards. Like, truly, would that be a bad thing? Because, I mean, that's 400 serialized cards a year. It's actually, I think, a less frequency than Magic the Gathering actually does it. Some other info from the card shops I've talked to so far. Yu-Gi-Oh's been down across the board for pretty much everybody. They've been losing a lot of money on a lot of things. It's been a little bit disappointing to see the IP over the last couple of years dramatically dropping, but there's not really much you can do about it. Rarity collections have been fire. Like I expected, the Chronicles decks were very, very good selling products. Even the decks recently, the Legendary 5Ds decks, a lot of stores have sold out on them. They performed absolutely beyond their expectations. I mean, they're not buying like, 8, 9, 10 pallets of these things. No. Most stores are picking up like 18 of them and flipping through the product very rapidly. So, I mean, that was an interesting takeaway that, like I said, I told you those products are going to perform up to standard. Kind of going forward here, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, Maze might be a rough set. I think the Charmer decks are probably going to do fine. Horus cards are the hard carry for that product. Burst Protocol is going to be propped up on a $90 card. I mean, if you're not expecting Crown to be like $70 to $90, I don't know what to tell you. There's nobody wants to open up the product unless it's to pull the Crown. So, I mean, like, we'll have to wait and see if the TCG exclusive Dinosaur archetype actually ends up pulling its own weight here. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And we're going in a good direction right now, guys. Patrons! Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.